in these days. So since 2017, the UPSC examination pattern is consistently changing every year. A new mechanism of a new method of examination is being presented by the UPSC, both in the prelims level as well as in the mains. So actually the UPSC syllabus has changed in 2011. Because in the till 2011, optional was there in the preliminary examination also. And in the mains, there were 2 optionals. But from 2011 onwards, 2011-12 onwards, the optional subject in the preliminary level is being replaced with the CSAT. So there is no more optional in the prelims. Only CSAT is being introduced along with the GS. So in the GS, you have 100 questions and each question carrying 2 marks and for the 200 marks. And in the CSAT, you know that there are 80 questions and 100 marks, 200 marks. And in 2013, even in the main examination also, the pattern has changed. The 2 optional system is being replaced with the single optional and the maximum marks for the optional is also reduced from 300 to 250. That is 300 in each paper. It used to be. Totally there used to be 600 marks for each optional. Now it is confined to 500 only. And for the common papers, that is general studies and general essay, there used to be 600 marks, but now there are 1250 marks. General essay 250 and general studies 1000 marks. So such kind of huge change has occurred in the examination pattern. So the criteria since the introduction of these common papers for the success in the UPSC exam are 2 points. One is commitment to crack and consistency of the preparation. So before the commencement, and majority of them, 70% of them who have given the attempt actually have withdrawn from the second paper. They did not given the attempt for the second paper, 70%. So this is the situation where the candidates are supposed to have these 2 C's in their preparation process. Before entering into the preparation, you need to have that killer commitment to crack, and during the preparation, you need to maintain that consistency. Because this examination is in such a way that the examination cycle itself is more than 15 months. Because in the month of February, you get the notification. Then around in the last week of May or first week of June, preliminary exam will be conducted. Then in the month of September, 3rd week, 5 days will be dedicated for the mains. And after the main examination for the personality test, you have to wait for another 5 to 6 months. That is in the following year, in the month of March and April, you will be having the personality test. So it is taking almost more than 15 months to complete the examination cycle itself. So you need to maintain the consistency in the preparation process for this 15 months. So for any reason, if you miss the chance, again you have to spend another 15 months. So therefore, it is required that you are supposed to have this consistency throughout the preparation. This consistent preparation is required. This consistency and commitment is being shown by Arjuna in his preparation. He observed these 2 principles. He was practicing whatever he is learning, he was practicing even while having the dinner. He was practicing the things even in the darkness. he was practicing the things even when he was sleeping. He was practicing while he was having a dinner, or when he was sleeping, or when he is awake. In all the processes of life, practice became a part of his life. So you need to make the practice a part of your life. One of the articles in an online publication, ThePrint, shows that regular coaching no longer enough. UPSC aspirants opt for personal mentors to crack the examination. So this is being published in 2022 June, on June 22nd. So you can also check this online portal, ThePrint, and which is indicating that the students are not getting satisfied with only coaching. They are also going for the personal mentorship. Why the candidates are preferring the personal mentorship? Because as I told you in the beginning, personal mentorship is required so that the candidates would be in a position to understand the crux of the examination, the philosophy of the examination, and they can decode the syllabus of the examination and the way the questions are being asked. So usually when you attend a UPSC coaching classroom, you will find that the classrooms are very huge. Large classrooms are there, packed with hundreds of students from every corner of the country. In any institute, this is the situation. And teachers would be taking the lectures using a microphone like me, and the sound of the students subscribing furiously on the paper. So this is the usual scenario in a regular coaching class. But the candidates who have completed this kind of routine, typical UPSC coaching, then the actual struggle begins after completion of the classes in the coaching classroom. Because after completing, during the classroom, most often I have observed that candidates were not preparing anything. They're just listening the classes and leaving the class. And after going to the room, they're taking the rest or they're enjoying the things. Because 90% of the students are coming from the villages and the towns. And when all of a sudden when they come to Hyderabad or they go to Delhi, they wanted to experience the cosmopolitan luxuries. And because of which, during the process of enjoying these luxuries, they are ignoring the preparation. After a few months, they realize, after the completion of the classes. And now they want a real coaching, real training. And so, the people who are attending the classes are not able to fall in line with the requirements of the UPSC. Because every year 10 to 11 lakhs people are applying. Only 5 to 6 lakhs are taking the examination. As I told you, in 2021 only 5 lakhs candidates have appeared for the examination. So the coaching is no more a normal practice. It is no longer limited to just classroom teaching and online lectures, because it is required, of course. Regular classes would be required for the novice. The novice is the one who has entered the civil service preparation for the first time, because the entire civil service preparation has 18 subjects in all, including your optional. And 80% of the candidates who are appearing for the civil service examination are coming from the science and technology background. Either they are from the science stream or from the technology stream, that is from the BTech. So they would not have touch with the subjects, various subjects that you prepare in the UPSC examination. Now, for example, out of the 18 subjects, at least 16 subjects are completely social science oriented subjects. So since they are completely social science oriented subjects, humanities, majority of the candidates are from the engineering background, otherwise they are belonging to the science background. Hence, they would have lost the touch with the humanities after their 10th class. So immediately after the 10th class, the candidates who are having an intention to join the BTech are taking the MPC. When they are taking the MPC as an option in their intermediate, then they are going for the 4 years of technology education, technology-based education, and they have lost touch of these humanities. So therefore, All of a sudden, when they are exposed to these humanities subjects, social science subjects, it is like a novice to them. It is like a new experience for them. So therefore, it is necessary that they should have this basic preparation. But after the basic preparation, there should be a focus on this personal mentorship. And the holistic development of an aspirant is also important as a part of the training for the civil service. Because the training for the civil service is not merely confined to learning the subject. You need to develop your attitude also towards the civil service preparation. Because when you understand the UPSC philosophy, when you observe the UPSC philosophy, it is completely oriented towards the humanitarianism. At every stage of examination, whether prelims or mains or in the personality test, you will be tested. Not only in the concerned examination, in the concerned subject, you will be tested even with reference to your personality. Suppose in the mains, prelims, or in the personality test, everywhere your leadership skills will be tested. Your decision-making abilities are tested. Your communication skills are tested. Suppose in the prelims exam, you have to choose among the 4 options in the multiple choice questions. There lies the decision-making ability. Out of the 4 choices that you have, which one you choose will decide your decision-making ability. So therefore, even at the mains level also, which optional subject that you are going to choose is also testing your decision-making ability. And in the personality test, even in the personality test also, earlier, before 2015, the UPSC members used to ask the questions related to the subjects, including the optional subject. There were questions based on the optional, there were questions based on the general studies, and there were questions based on the the current affairs also. But now the test of personality is not merely confined to these fundamental subjects. Personality test is actually testing your abilities to decide, abilities of communication. Decision making and communication skills are tested. So therefore it is going more and more towards the case study approach. A specific case situation will be given to the candidate and you would be observed in that particular case situation, how would you respond? So therefore it will require, the training will require a holistic development of an aspirant. So why this shift has happened? What is the reason for the shift? Aspirants want to crack it within a certain period of time. Because as earlier, before 2015, in fact, before 2010 or 11, candidates were very lazy in taking the attempts. Because if they fail in one particular attempt, they used to take 1 year break, then they used to give the second attempt after giving a break. And moreover, earlier, the candidates were also having opportunities to give the attempts even for the state services also. But the state services, the number of state examinations are declining over a period of time. For the Group 1, APPSC or TSPSC Group 1 exam was also an opportunity for them. And moreover, before 2008, the syllabus of the State Public Service Commission and UPSC were almost the same. There used to be 2 optionals even in the Group 1 examination also, as it used to be there in the civil services. But once the syllabus pattern is being changed in the State Public Service Commission, the number of candidates appearing and showing interest in the civil service exam is declining. And those who wanted to take the civil service exam wanted to crack it in the first attempt only. And moreover, from 2012 onwards, in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, the trend of integrated coaching has begun. Integrated coaching means coaching to the students right from the intermediate level. Civil services coaching right from the intermediate has begun. And hundreds of candidates are joining this, integrated coaching. And as a result, after 5 years of their completion of their integrated coaching, or if they have started in the degree, after 3 years of their completion, they wanted to make it in the very first attempt because they had a preparation experience of 3 or 4 years, 5 years. So even because of that reason, the candidates are looking for the personal mentorship, and they wanted to choose the correct service for themselves. and it makes the need for the mentor. So the need for the mentor arises because of those reasons. And today content is not a problem, moreover, because you have the content after 2012 when the CSAT was introduced. Most of the BTech candidates have entered into the civil service market. And even apart from the aspirants, even coaching institutes have also converted to the technology. So they are using algorithms, artificial intelligence. And with the use of the algorithms and artificial intelligence, coaching content has become very flexible for the candidates. And with the advent of the edutech platforms and online material, you are getting both free videos as well as free materials, study material. So material is not the issue at present. So what is the requirement today is what not to study and how to write the exam. What not to study is the important aspect, and how to write the examination, how not to write the answers. These are the things that require to be clarified. So therefore, the candidates are looking for this personal mentors. So the trend today is based on the personal mentorship. For the past 2-3 years, this has begun. So usually, who is a mentor? Mentor is someone who prepares the students for everything. Like Dronacharya, who personally gives the personal attention to the most interested candidates. Since Arjuna was practicing in the darkness, instantaneously Drona has made Arjuna as his personal mentor. Because this mentorship will be given only to those candidates who are having interest to do something, achieve something. It is not the personal interest of the teacher, but the personal interest of the students that makes the mentors to guide them. So, right from the preliminary exam to personality test, the mentor will be guiding the candidates. Both in, suppose in the preliminary examination, the one issue that creates problem to the candidate will be how to eliminate. Even this elimination process is done away with last year in the 2022 preliminary examination with the new pattern of questions being given. There are 8 questions where you cannot use this elimination technique because you have to identify the pairs of the answers. Only when you know the perfect answer, you can identify the answer. Possibility of the elimination technique does not exist. So how to overcome these issues like elimination and identification of a right answer? How many questions to be answered in the prelims? Which questions have to be attempted first in the CSAT? For all these things, there should be a personal guide to assist you and to handhold you. So usually a mentor will adopt a strategy like a personal mentor operates by identifying the potential of an aspirant, like Drona did with reference to Arjuna, and guiding the students through the entire journey. Because it is not merely only learning about the prelims or only learning about the mains or only attending for the personality test. Throughout the journey of the candidate, the mentor has to guide the candidate with a personal intention. So we have a plan of one mentor is being allocated to 25 candidates, so that no mentor will be overcrowded with huge number of students. So mentor support will be based on as basic as teaching the candidate how to frame a certain answer or an essay. It starts with this, right from the basic teaching, if required personally, and how to write an answer. Then letting the aspirant to develop individual personality and encouraging the critical thinking also. Because today you cannot think anything only from one perspective or only from positive perspective. You are also supposed to have that negative perspective. So a civil service aspirant is expected to think both from the positive, negative perspectives. Because having only positive attitude is not adequate for the UPSC examination. Because usually we are guided by the Hindu paper articles. Because once you decided to enter into the civil service preparation, people immediately will suggest you to read Hindu paper. But that Hindu paper is no more useful for the candidates to prepare for. Because the Hindu paper is entirely a leftist oriented article presentation, whereas the government is a rightist oriented policy orientation. So when the government has this rightist oriented policy orientation, so it will contradict with the Hindu ideology, the Hindu paper ideology, not Hindu ideology, the Hindu paper ideology. So since there is a contradiction between these two, the examination pattern is also changing. It is not the same as what is being presented in the Hindu paper. It will be completely different. Once upon a time, learning about the criticism against the government was the intellectualism. It is considered that criticizing the government is considered as the intellectualism. But today it is not the intellectualism. Criticizing the state, criticizing the government is no more intellectualism. Government want civil servant, not a critic, not a journalist. Government don't want any opposition into the administration. Government want only the civil servant, the one who serve the people with government policies, not a critic of the government. Suppose if something happened in Delhi as a part of the Citizenship Amendment Act riots, you are supposed to write a report on that in favor of the government against the rights that have taken place. So that is the way the government is expecting the UPSC to give the question papers. In case of the farmer movements, you are not supposed to take only the side of the farmers. You have to take a neutralist view and a positivist view and a creative view to resolve the problem. You are not expected to criticize the government always. If you criticize the government, you should also have the solution to overcome that criticism. So this critical thinking is not criticism. Critical thinking is taking a different view from the rest of the mainstream media or social media. What social media or mainstream media is taking the sides is not necessary to be taken by the candidates. You need to take an opposite stand. You may be expected to take an opposite stand. If this thinking is developed, when you see a surprising question differently from what everybody is thinking, you will not get surprised. You will be in a position to think freely to develop the answer for that. So this critical thinking, suppose everybody say that there is a need for Lokpal to end the corruption. But what the UPSC has given as a part of the questions in the mains, the UPSC has given a question saying that merely by establishing the UPSC, you cannot eradicate the corruption. Comment. This was the question given. Everybody was saying that there should be a Lokpal institution to end the corruption. That is the mainstream media opinion, even social media opinion. But UPSC opinion is opposite to that. You can develop this opposite thinking only when you have a critical thinking. And this critical thinking possibilities will be developed through over a period of time. So whereby the UPSC question is saying that merely by establishing the Lokpal, you cannot eradicate the corruption. Similarly, suppose in the international relations, this time you may expect a question related to India's foreign policy with reference to Russia and importing the oil from Russia. Every time our foreign policy was succumbed to the Western and European policies. But now our foreign policy is against the Western and European policies because of a new foreign minister who is taking a very strong stand to respect the sovereignty of India according to our needs, our moral needs, our statutory needs. Suppose everybody is criticizing India for importing oil from Russia at a low cost, but we are importing that oil from Russia. And this is our sovereign decision making. Examiner will give the question on these lines. The Ukraine foreign minister is saying that India is importing oil from the Ukrainian blood. But our foreign minister has responded that it is our morality to import oil at a cheaper cost from Russia. And it is our sovereign decision. It is not only philosophical morality, it is also a political morality that operates in the international politics. So these different vision, this kind of different vision should be adopted by the candidates. And this would be possible by the development of this critical thinking. What everybody is viewing something in a different light, you should see it in a completely opposite side. You need to develop both the views and come up with a creative solution making. You need to have a positive thinking, a negative thinking. Beyond these two things, you should also have a creative thinking. So that creative thinking capabilities would be developed when you have these critical thinking abilities. And mentor support will also be there for analyzing the past performance and tell the candidates how to improve or where they went wrong. This is the feedback mechanism that the mentor usually will give. And the realistic guidance on how to crack the exam is based on 4 principles. That is, students have no dearth of reading the material because material is hugely available. And there are hundreds of videos online, both free of cost as well as paid videos are there. And both free and paid content is available, and the candidate need to crack the exam with minimum attempts. At the best in 1 attempt, at the first attempt. So for this purpose, you need to know the pulse of the UPSC. So our team has made a research of the UPSC question papers, both prelims and the mains, during the lockdown period. During the lockdown 2-year period, when many people in the world are cooking, our team was researching on how the UPSC is giving the exam, is giving the questions across the exams. And they have researched 40 years of question papers from 1980 onwards. Because more particularly, after the 1979 examination pattern has changed. Till 1979, the examination pattern was completely based on the Macaulay principles. There was only, till 1979, there was only mains examination. And for every service, there were different number of papers till 1979. Suppose if you wanted to enter IAS, you have to choose it in the beginning itself. And you have to write 3 optionals. If you wanted to be an IPS officer, you have to choose 2 optionals. And if you have selected Indian Foreign Service, because Indian Foreign Service, one of the topmost elite service in those days, till 1970s. And if you wanted to enter the IFS, you have to write 4 optionals. And even the marks for the interview are also different. 200 marks for the IPS, 250 for the IAS, 400 marks for the IFS. So this is a kind of haphazard system of examination that was changed in 1979 based on the recommendations of Kothari Committee. The UPSC has appointed a committee called under the chairmanship of Kothari, who was a retired UPSC chairman. And on the recommendations of this Kothari Committee, from 1979 onwards, a new examination pattern is being introduced. And that examination pattern has introduced the concept of preliminary for the first time in 1979. So before 1979, there was no preliminary examination. So from 1980 onwards, all the preliminary questions have been analyzed by our candidates. Similarly, the mains questions papers were also analyzed. And one of the examples that you can see is that there was no exam without a question on parliamentary form of government and parliament. Either in the prelims or in the mains, definitely there is a question on. You can see, even if you blindly pick up any 5 question papers, 1999, 2009. So any blindly you pick up any question paper. In every exam, you will find one thing in common, and that is, there is a question definitely from parliamentary form of government or the working of the parliament in India. Without a question on the parliament or parliamentary form of government, there was no examination. So this is the kind of analysis that the team of 21st century has made. And based on this analysis, we have designed several questions and identified certain areas based on which your preparation should be made. So there are hundreds of candidates who are following these approaches. So you need to crack it with the minimum efforts, within minimum attempts. At the best, it should be in the first attempt. So the difference between the past and present. The past and present means the past before 2010, present after 2010. If you take this kind of criteria, candidate used to take a gap of year after the college to prepare for the civil service exam. That means after till 2010, candidates used to take a break of 1 year after completion of their graduation. But now there is a change, as I told you already. Right from intermediate, some candidates are preparing, or right from the graduation itself, candidates are preparing for the civil service exam while they are in the college itself. If you are a student of BTech also, even the BTech candidates are started preparing their civil service exam either online because of the technology availability, or in the evening batches, or in the weekend batches. And now we are also from 2012 onwards in Andhra Pradesh, in the joint Andhra Pradesh, this trend of integrated civil service coaching has begun, in which the candidates started preparing for the civil service examination along with the graduation itself. So that is the difference between the preparation strategy of the candidates from the past to the present. So mentors used to suggest comprehending the answers, because preliminary examination is the toughest examination across the prelims, mains and the personality test. But your rank determinant will be the mains. Toughest exam is the prelims, because the number of candidates appearing is huge, large number, as well as even 2021 question paper has completely changed the pattern of asking the questions. And therefore it is the toughest examination across the 3 levels. But your rank will be determined based on the mains. So in the mains, you are supposed to have a comprehending ability in answering the questions. How to write a proper introduction. And to the point approach. You need to have a to the point approach. To the point approach means many people will be asking me a doubt like whether you have to answer the question in a paragraph manner or in a point-wise method. Because from 2013, when the question paper pattern is changed, you are getting only the 10 marks questions. And from 2017, you are getting both 10 marks questions and 15 marks questions. So there are 20 questions in the general studies, 3 papers of general studies. And ethics is having a different approach. So this 20 questions in 3 papers will be the actual deciding factors. And hence, you have to answer the questions only in a point-wise method. And in what way that you have to present the point-wise method. And you have to write the answer in a point to the point approach. And how to write a way forward to the question. Because for candidates, while presenting the answer, these are the 2 problems. One is how to write the introduction, and second, how to write the way forward in the conclusion. So these are the things that the mentors would be advising you consistently. And there should also be a focus on holistic development. That is, holistic development of an aspirant personality is very crucial for the civil service exam. And rote learning and cramming are no longer useful. Because when there is a domination of the optional examination, optional pattern with 1200 marks, 2 optionals, 1200 marks, rote learning would be adequate. But today that is not the criteria. And the UPSC exam has changed over the years, hence the method of preparation has also changed. And currently there is more emphasis on the questions based on the current affairs, both in the prelims and the mains. And in the prelims, if you observe, NCERT questions, directly questions picked up from the NCERT textbooks consists of 80% of the total questions. In the general studies, 80% of the questions are directly based on the NCERT. But people would not focus adequately on the NCERT. You need to focus 80% of your preparation from the NCERT only. You have to be thorough with the NCERT from 6th class to 12th class. Read every line and every sentence, every paragraph and every word, by heart every word in the NCERTs. Even from the foreword also, the examiner is giving the questions. Suppose there was a question last year in 2021 asking you to identify in which place did Rabindranath Tagore has translated the national anthem into English. So that question was given from the NCERT forward, not from the main description of the textbook. So therefore, we need to add the current affairs to the NCERT fundamentals. And alternative thinking or imagination for problem solving is also important as a part of your holistic development. And you are supposed to stay updated all the time. So you need to stay updated on actual world developments like popular movies also, and books, debates, discoveries, politics, policy and governance, and economics and technology. Everything is important. Whatever that is happening in the society, whatever the improvements that are taking place in the society should be understood from the societal point of view. Everything listed out here should be understood from the societal point of view. Societal point of view in the sense, suppose what you learn in the economics should be applied in the society. How people are getting benefited in the society and how the people are influenced by those changes in the economy or technology, policy, politics, everything. Suppose the Supreme Court is talking about the freebies. There may be a question about the freebies. What are the types of freebies? Distinguish between freebies and the welfare programs, or how freebies impact the society and economy. What is the impact of freebies on the women empowerment? You may also be getting a question like impact of freebies on the women empowerment, impact of freebies on the child development. Because suppose according to Article 21A, there is a free and compulsory education. The right to free and compulsory education for the children in the age of 6 to 14 years. It is directly mentioned in the Constitution itself that the education is free. So should this free be given or not? It's a human development index which the Constitution itself has recognized. And if you go by the Supreme Court opinion, this has to be abolished. This has to be removed from the Constitution. Feeding the children as a part of the midday meal, is it necessary or not? Is also a freebie. Ammavadi scheme in Andhra Pradesh is a necessity to improve the human development indexes. So everything cannot be tied to the same thing. There are various types of freebies which are useful for the human development index. And hence, how this is impacting the life of the people should be understood. How this freebie scheme is empowering the woman or contributing to the development of the children as a part of the human development. So suppose there was a question last year regarding the gig economy. Impact of gig economy on the Indian society was the question. What is the impact of gig economy on the Indian society? This question actually we prepare as a part of the economy in the paper 3, for the paper 3. But this question is given in the paper 1. How gig economy is having its influence over the social standards of life on the people. So similarly, there was a question earlier about Satyam scandal. Satyam computers, and they were indulged in a corporate scandal. And usually we expect the Satyam scandal question, if at all this question is being given, as a part of the corporate governance in the ethics paper. But this question was given in the paper 2 as a part of the good governance. The paper 2, that is the polity and governance. So therefore, whatever the things that are happening around us should be understood from the point of view their impact on the social life. Suppose there was a question on live-in relationships in the paper 1. What is the impact of live-in relationships on the society? That was the question given in the paper 1. And now there is a trend of sologamy, increasing trend of sologamy. There may be a possible question of increasing trend of sologamy on the Indian society. Sologamy means a person marrying oneself. Monogamy means a person marrying only one spouse. But the trend of not marrying the other sex and not marrying the same sex also, they are gone trends. And the new emerging trend is the marrying oneself is also a new trend. and the examiner can give a question on this particular trend. So how these trends are impacting the Indian society? How Russia-Ukraine war is impacting the Indian economy? Russia-Ukraine war impacting our sovereignty? Maybe a question in the paper too. So across various dimensions, you need to stay updated on all these aspects with reference to their impact on the social dimension of life. So this is the kind of mentorship that we do. It's a year-long meditational mentorship. It's like a meditation. We expect you to spend at least 11 hours a day, minimum 11 hours a day, with reasonable breaks between each preparation duration, each preparation schedule. It is like a meditation you have to do. So in the very beginning, I told you that you need to have a commitment to crack it and you need to maintain consistency. If you give me 360 days, I will give you UPSC. Make yourself sure that you prepare consistently every day for 11 hours without taking a break. So it contains, the course highlights will be including LSRW. It is not merely reading and writing. It also includes listening and speaking. The speaking skills will explore more number of ideas into you. When you speak on a subject, you will be asked to discuss, make a group discussion on a particular topic. This is useful not only for the personality test, but also to generate the ideas. Suppose if you happen to see this, Kaun Banega Karodpati. The anchor encourages the aspirant to think more and more and talk and more and more. The anchor will not let the participant to remain silent. The anchor will make the participant to think and talk. So that new ideas would be, when he is talking, new ideas are generated. Based on that idea, he is getting the answer properly. So therefore, you need to speak a lot. It is not that IAS aspirant has to lock himself inside a room and should not talk with anybody. That was the old idea. But the new idea is that you should follow this LSRW. You need to listen what others are saying and what the teacher is saying. You speak on those issues. Read and write. Then P2P, that is peer-to-peer analysis. Rather than analysis only by the mentor. Apart from the mentor analysis, mentor feedback, you are supposed to give feedback to each other. That is the peer-to-peer analysis. Then there are RRR principle. That is, whatever you read should be recorded and also be revised. At least you have to revise for 3 times. And this is the schedule we are giving you for 120 days. The entire syllabus of the general studies is divided into 120 days. And in the first preparation, you would be given opportunity to read the entire syllabus thoroughly. Then again, the same syllabus will be revised for another 120 days with new question papers. And a third revision will be given for another 120 days with third round of question papers. 3 sets of question papers will be given to you. Each set of question paper will be a new question set of papers. So this revision part should not be ignored. Most often candidates would be complaining, saying that I have made a thorough preparation and particularly in the prelims, I have marked a wrong answer for a known question. Why do the candidates will mark wrong answer for a known question? They know the subject, but they mark the wrong answer because they have failed to revise. If you would have revised, then you would not have marked a wrong answer for that. So revision is very much important. And this entire practice of 120 days into 3 is based on the SAR, that is self-assessment review. You have to make yourself review. In every page of this booklet, there is a column. Suppose, as I told you, that 11 hours a day that you will be given time to prepare, in which 6 hours preparation, daily GS 6 hours, including every day, irrespective of the subject that you are preparing. Every day you have to prepare ethics for 30 minutes. and 5.5 hours remaining GS subjects. Optional is a self-preparation strategy for 3 hours. And CSAT 1 hour you have to practice, because even the CSAT strategy is also changing. It is not merely the practice based on the staff selection committee exam papers. It is completely a different approach. So every day 1 hour should be dedicated to the CSAT. As I told you that you have to be updated every time. So for current affairs you have to spend 1 hour. So this is the strategy. And there is a column in the text booklet that is being given to you to verify whether you have followed all these subjects in the same order or not. So if you follow this schedule every day on these lines for 360 days consistently, definitely no one can stop you from getting into the service. But this has to be done 360 days thoroughly without any deviation. Even if you deviate one day, that will be a failure. And so that is based on your self-assessment review, and that should be based on your the self-promise. It is not a promise to be made to someone. It should be based on your self-promise only. And previous year questions would also be given as a part of the practice. So every day, as prescribed, you have to prepare for 11 hours with across reasonable gaps, and for which you will be given access to a study hall. The study hall will be accessible to you for 18 hours, morning 6 to night 12 o'clock, and from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. every day there will be mentor feedback on the exam that you will be writing as a part of your preparation process. And so this, as I told you, that our team has made it by a thorough research. You have a question paper booklet, daily question paper booklet, and this is based on the 40 years UPSC question papers, prelims and mains. So the outcome of this research is that our research team has decoded the UPSC. As given you the example that without a question on parliamentary government and parliament, there is no question paper at all, particularly in polity. And similarly in other subjects also, they have identified such things. So daily preparation strategy is based on this research. So the features of this program will be like mentors will be there for every 25 students. One mentor will be dedicated to 25 students, and they will give you feedback, and there will be a weekly interaction with the chief mentor. So UPSC mentorship based on self-study and self-assessment rather than enforced study. Enforced study would not give you positive result. So as I told you that it would be a 3 cycles of 120 days each. The booklet that is being given to you is for 120 days. The same cycle will be continued for 3 cycles, 3 times, and that would cover 360 days. So as I told you that daily schedule self-assessment report will be like this. So every day there will be a test of 25 questions, 20 static questions and 5 current affairs questions. And you will also be expected to write 2 mains answers based on the peer-to-peer analysis. And at the end of the day, before going to bed, you have to make a self-assessment report by yourself. So whether you have studied GS 5.5 hours or not, along with 30 minutes of ethics, irrespective of the subject, every day there will be ethics preparation. Then optional, because ethics is one area where you can have the opportunity to score maximum. Even up to 70% marks you can score. Whereas in the remaining 3 general studies papers, the possibility of scoring is only 50 to 55%. Whereas in ethics, you can score up to 70%. So therefore, focusing on ethics, minimum 30 minutes every day would be required. And CSAT for 1 hour, current issues 1 hour. And daily performance, you have to mark 10 if you tick all the 5. And you are accountable and answerable to whom? You are accountable to none except yourself. You are answerable to yourself. You cannot cheat yourself. If you have the Atmasakshi, you tick all the things. Without reading, suppose optional, if you tick this, your Atmasakshi will not accept it. So, if you complete these 5 and tick each of these boxes, you have to mark 10. If you fail any one of these 5, suppose ethics you have not done, then you have to mark 8. So that is the self-assessment report on a daily basis. So these are the things that you will be practicing as a part of the study. GS1, history, these are the areas like total hours you will be spending on ancient India will be 38 hours. Then number of questions would be 250 in the prelims. And number of mains questions will be 32. Modern India, 44 hours, 325 MCQs. And number of mains questions you will be answering would be 38. So these are the things that are clearly displayed in the practice booklet that is being given to you. And similarly in the GS1 non-history part, like Indian society and geography. Then in the GS2, international relations, polity and governance. These are the number of hours and MCQs and mains question that you are going to practice. This is the consistent practice without ignoring any subject. Because during the preparation process, what happens is, sometimes the candidate will develop a kind of stepmotherly attitude. They love one subject, ignore the remaining subjects. This kind of stepmotherly attitude should not be there. All these subjects are your own children. You are not the stepmother of any child. So if you develop that stepmotherly attitude, you ignore the preparation of 1 or 2 subjects. That will be very dangerous to the preparation process. Hence, across all the subjects, according to the weightage given to each subject, we have designed this module. And in the GS4, apart from daily 30 minutes preparation, dedicatedly you will be having 39 hours of preparation, exclusive ethics, and you would be answering 100 questions in the mains. Because ethics is not a part of the prelims cabinet. So, so this is the approach that we are going to adopt in this preparation process. So next session would be taken by Mr. Bhavani Shankar, who is our chief mentor. Please wait for 5 minutes.